はい、こんばんは。バーチャルティールーム店主の夜須香です。ということでね、今回、あれです。スタニーパラブルっていう、ゲームをやろうかなと思ってて。ちょっと待ってね。ちょっと一回閉じます。今回、スタニーパラブルっていうゲームなんですけど、かなり短いゲームで、まああれですね。ちょっと今見て見えてない。なんでごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。スタンリーパラブル、スタンリーパラブル。よし、見えた見えた。ということでね、今回ね、見えてる通りなんですけど、ちょっと一回ね、やってみましょう。ということで。なんだけど、音が聞こえてないな。なんでだ。オプション。ちょっと待ってね。なんか音が出てないみたいですが、どうしようかな。字幕出るんだけど、このゲーム。よいしょ。ナーズさんこんばんは。ということで、今回スタンリーパラブやっていこうと思うんですが、よいしょと。聞こえないね。フルキャプション。ちょっと待ってね。よし、聞こえた。聞こえたと思う、これで。今回、あれだね。あれなんか、コントローラー効かないゲームなので。ということでね。やってみた方が早いかな。やっていきましょう。あ、違う。ということでね、今回、スタニーパラブルっていうゲームなんですけども、このゲーム、はい。
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
はい。
Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year.And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour,when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time.But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
ということで、スタニーパラブルの、ゲームを始めていこうということで、まずは普通に一回やってみようと思います。はい。ということでね。うまく動け。よし。
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
じゃあ次行きましょう。次の部屋です。よいしょ。いろんな電源消してるんだけども。はい、次。まあ普通に今は進めてます。こういうね、こういうところもある。
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
じゃあ左のほどは入ってきますね。閉じましたけども、無視して進んでいきます。
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
これブラックだ。めっちゃスケジュールあるじゃん。ターゲット。Using slides to assure。わからん。You must fall。まあ行きましょうか。閉じた。さて、
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
まあ普通に今回進めているんですけども、ここが上司のオフィスですね。居心地よさそうです。
Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
ブラックだよ、そう。マールさん。成り立ってるっていうか、成り立つんだけど。ちなみに今回、今週回は初めに進んでいます。適当じゃないな。
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
まあ今回は普通に進めていくので、まあちゃんとね。
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
ということで次行きましょうか。
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers.
誰もおらんやんけ。
So many individuals reduced to images on a screen.
誰もおらん。誰もおらんねんけど。誰もいねー。 はい。
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never.
ナレーターさんがテンションめっちゃ上がっとるんよ。
Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over...
はい。
blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on...
そうだね、人がめっちゃいなかったよね。誰もね、教えてくれなかったよね。
How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go.
いやー、
No longer would anyone
まあまあまあまあまあ。
what to do or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now.
ど田舎やなーと思う。
And Stanley was happy.
はい、ということでね、まあまあまあまあまあまあまあまあ。これで終わればクソゲーですよ。これで終わればね。ちょっと待ってね、大きさ変えよう。これで終われば、まあ、ただのクソゲーですよ。なんですけど、こっからが、ちょっと本番かなって思います。スタニーパラブル、ちょっとちょっとお聞きして。こっからが本番でしょう。はい。2週目始まりました。このゲーム、まあ、いろいろ至るところであるんですけど、まあ、はい。終わります。
Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go anywhere except badly.
Hi.
The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
はい。エンディングの一つですね。ははは。こういうゲームです。ナレーターをこんな風におちょくるゲームでして、ナレーターのそう意図しない方向に向かうことができます。 まあ強制されてないわけですね。そこも作り込まれているわけです。なので、なので、こういう風にね。ちょっとナレーターも変わってるっていうことに気づいていただいたいですね、これ。エンディングはね、このゲーム早かったり早くなかったりすることもあります。よいしょっと。はい。右に行けるんですね。あ、これ、先週のスーパーリミナルになりましたね。触れないみたい。触れないみたいです。コーヒーメーカーとかあります。他になんもないんだね。
Yes, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
はい、次。虫です。虫します。
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley. Oh, well, look who's got cold feet. Sorry to break it to you, Stanley, but that lift isn't coming back. You'd best either get comfortable right here on this platform, or test your luck by jumping to the floor below. You know what? Looking at it now, it's... But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control... Looks like I was wrong. How clumsy of me.
これ何エンドだっけ？臆病エンドですね。まあこんなゲームです。何でもできる。何でもできます。じゃあ次に行きましょう。
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
よいしょ、次行きましょう。これ以上わかんないんだよね。自殺するルートか、即、引きこもるルートしかわかんなくて。こっから。ナレーター左？ん？まあ開けて。
No, it's to the right. My mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly. Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute?
ナレーターがゲームマスターが混乱してますよこれ。これね、TRPG やっちゃいけないことなんだけどね。
Down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now.
TRPG のゲームマスみたいなこと言ってる。ゲームマスターだ。今ルールブックめくったら、ルールブックじゃない。格の。
No. no, this isn't right. You're not supposed to be here yet. It's a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just to who am I?
解雇されとるやん。一人。
The whole story.
ゲームマスターだ。
Rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track.
ゲームマスターじゃやってはいけないことしてる。ほとんどやらないことしてる。ゲームマスター。あれよし、動けた。あれ動けない。よし、動けた。んあ、そうだ。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley... Wait, what?
あれ
No, I restarted. I swear I
そうだよね。
restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere.
Ah, タックの。
Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
あれあら
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
まあまあまあまあまあまあまあ。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
てか、こういうさ、ボタン押すだけのさ、人にさ、会議って必要か？会議ってあったの？本当に？あ？
Okay, yeah, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from.
ルールブックなくした？
See if we missed anything.
ルールブックなくしました？シナリオのなくしたんだったら自分で作れたりはしますけども、ルールブックなくしちゃった？
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes.
あ、アルタロスさんこんばんは。アンダーテールよりもちょっと頭おかしいよ、これ。本当に頭おかしい。ん？
No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
あら？
Now this... Well, I'll be honest. I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story?
俺も知らない。
I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing,
TRPG を始めた。
you win! Congratulations!
イエーイ
I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off. So, good job. Oh no. No, I don't feel right about
違和感がすごい。
both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win.
そうだね。
People win fair and square.
そうだね。
One of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
もう TRPG 始めちゃったこの人。お、なんか LINE がある。
Alright, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable adventure line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
TM 著作権ついちゃった一体どうなんだろうこれ。
No, no, I'm done. We're leaving it up to the line from now on. さあ、ラインさん。おいおいこの人ソリティアしとるぞおいこの人ソリティアしとるぞおい見ろソリティアしとるぞおいソリティアパソコンで、でもさ、スタンリーのパソコンよりもいいパソコンじゃないこれ多分。スタンリー、ソリティアできないよね。シフトなり報酬、シフトか。なら仕方ないね。シフトなら仕方ないね。 You see, the line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay, now if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office in fact the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? That's got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
もうクソデカ BGM くん。待てや、音量でかいわ。音量小さくするな。びっくりした。よいしょ、これでいいと思う。治ってねえ。ごめんな、ちょっと小さくするな。クソデカ BGM くんな。クソデカだから。ね。このクソ BGM。目的地がない。アドリブで行く。ハテナじゃないんだよ。こいつが上司なんじゃねえのか？番号若いし。マンスリーレッドギアーズ コーポレートインバランスズ、まあ書類かな。なんだこのクソ BGM よ。どうなってんのこれ。
Cut the music. Go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely.
観葉植物くん。
You won't want to miss anything.
ああ、ほんとクソだそびじみだった。
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No, no, no. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
引きこもれんが。こっちは何があるか。観葉植物くんだろ。あと戻れない、無視する方向ではいけないのかな。
Still missing the doors. Did we make a mistake following the line? Perhaps we could have found the story on our own.
ああ、もうかわいそうにな。かわいそうにな。ああ。
Not again, Line. How could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take it.
もう知らん。そうだね。はい。アドベンチャーラインくんです。
Stanley, I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Oh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction? Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything.
What
do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it. Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
どっか行った。
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the...
この部屋何？
In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere at the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going?
なんて？へえ。ちょっと待ってね。俺がでかすぎる。よし。これでよし。多分ナレーションはね、ガチで、切れて、ガチでシナリオマジでなくしてると思うよ。これがこう。
You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it.
私嫌だってる。
Does that mean did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime...
あ、はあ。多分混乱エンドですね。ということで次の集会に参りましょう。はい。
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
ちょっと待ってね。どうしよう。パソコンがね、
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
よいしょ、行こう。
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office.
次はどうしよっかな。あ、ちょっとリスタートします。ちょっとあれだ、失敗しちゃった。一回ちょっとやり直しじゃなければいいんだけど。 今ね、ちょっとこう、ある手順を試してて、あ、失敗じゃない。よし。で、これ上司のオフィスに直行します。あと1個知ってるエンディングがあるんだけど、それの手順のためにちょっとこう、やり直しさせてもらいました。ちょっとこう、まあ、手順は調べてください。後でね。ジャンプできないのがね、このゲーム。大変。ここのパソコンにあるはず。よし。よし、よしよし。ED ならないんですよ、これは。ちょっと番号忘れちゃった。
Half sobs, the guttural retching of life from a man denied any hope, any reason to keep going. Here on the floor, he lay prone, paralyzed by fear for nearly a full hour. But
適当言いよって。
he found a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could it mean? Was it a sign of hope for Stanley's future? Alas, it was not. For although this keypad guarded the terrible secret of Stanley's past, it had been assigned a 4-digit code so devious and so random that no man could ever hope to guess it. 2845. Statistically, nearly impossible to guess blindly, ever. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
次何しよっかな。こっちには何もないよね。じゃあ次行きましょうか。次ね、なんか途中でさ、エスケープってあったよね。じゃあそこに行ってみようかなって思う。
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around.
開けてるんでしょ?
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
落ちましたね。あ、止まった。
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story. Trapped forever.
いやー、クソ GM ですね。いや、クソプレイヤーでもあるんだけどね。あと、盲目の男に対するヘイトがすごすぎる。おや。
Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws.
誰?
In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
あー、ナレーター解雇されちゃった?ん?
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same.
あら
Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
あらー、なるほど。なんか、変なとこついたんだけど。キャビネット。使ってないやつ。100使ってないでしょ、これ。あ、ドアだ。ザ・オフィス。ボタンサウンズ。へえ。へえとしか言えんか。スタリーンチ。オフィスコンピューター。あ、はあ、ソリティアやってる。ソリティアやってるクレジット。まあ、うん。作ってくださった方々ですね。メンテナンスルーム。初期バージョンのメンテナンスルーム。ほうほうほう。コピー機。ほうほうほう。スタンリーパラブルをグリーンライトに提出しましたと。そうですね。設定部屋っていうかミュージアムルームですね。これ多分。ちょっと待って、向こうの部屋も見たいな。あっち。一回戻って。ジャンプくれよ、ジャンプ。あっちの部屋も見たーい。ボスオフィス、上司のオフィス。ボケー。フリーダムエンディング。へえ。これさ、ものすごいなんかこうネタバレを見てしまったんじゃないか、私は。カウントダウンデスク。フリーダムエンド。あ、エグジットがあるから、エグジットには出ないようにすると。爆破。うんうんうん。ラウンジ。ラウンジと聞くとね、やっぱりさ、ソファへ出たじゃないね。へえ。これは、スタンリーのオフィス。へえ。ちょっとアップで入ってるみたいなやつだね。エスケープメニュー。メニューからリスタートした時だけみたいなのがあるんだ。 ゼンディング。ゼンディングってなんだ？長いな。音ないね。ミニチュアみたいな光加減だな。帰ろう。へえ。消えるか。あっちにも部屋あるわ。多分ね。よいしょっと。エグジット行こう。
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever
夢だった。
Don't let time.
夢でしたね。何ソマト？変わったソマトだね。よいしょ。よいしょ。これ多分リスタートだな。多分。ちょっと。
A soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started, and if it did, it stopped shortly after.
スタンリーここ生まれ？マジで？やばいじゃん。やってるわ。
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
乗るか。
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult. What?
おっと、乗れた。ふぅ。
Zero consideration.
切れた。
I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the... Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you. What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place... No, wait. Where are you going? Right. Where were we? Oh, no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this. Good. We can't be too safe. Promise me you won't go back there. Just stay here. No. What did we talk about? You are going to stay here, aren't you?
なんでこんな気に入ってんだよ、主人公のこと。ホモじゃん。
You heard me before, didn't you? You will...
わかった、もう一回戻るよ。あ、もう行こうか。な。もういいだろ。な。
Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me.
あ、ここから飛び降りる？オッケー。
Thank God. No. What are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back.
解雇されたくないらしい。
If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this?
これさ、結構、この発言さ、あれじゃん。ナレーターもリセットしてるってことか。へえ。
Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me?
あ、ええよ。
Yes. Perhaps you can. Perhaps you finally see what I'm talking about.
バイバーイ。ナレーターをちょくの楽しいな。もう一回行こう。
My God, is this really how much you dislike me? From this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly? Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it.
面白がってますね。
Wanted us to get along, but I guess that was too much to ask. It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours.
せーの。
Is it over? It's
これさ、結構確信に迫ってるんだよね、多分。次です。次行きましょう。次どこだっけなーと。いやー、さっきのはね、結構ね、やべえエンドでしたね。これが一番やべえエンドかもしれない。
Stanley stood for a long time in one spot. It's part of a game. He likes to see how long he can go without dying. So far, he's doing excellent. And if he just stays right where he is, I'm sure he'll keep up that good momentum. Let's observe.
431から436ってさ、これなの？かわいそうじゃない？やってる。あ、違う、そうじゃない。ああ、なるほど、そういうことか。ああ。ちょっと待ってよーと。
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again
これ面白くてね。
any human life. What could it mean, he wondered. Stanley was in such a rush to get through
こういうことになっちゃう。
That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming new age music.
やめやめやめ。
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley walked forward into the opened passageway.
よいしょ。
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
閉まっとるかな。
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content, walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again have terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and... Oh, Stanley. You didn't just activate the controls, did you? After being slave all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated...
いや、施設全体消滅していただければ、私としてはまあ満足なんですけどね。あ、2分待つ？マジで？ あー、2分。あー、長いですね。あー、長いですね、2分は。いや、2分は長いだろ。あ、2分は長いよね。
What all this means, I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated.
いや、知りたいっちゃ知りたいけど。あ、教えてくれるんだ。ありがてえな。長いな。だろうな。あったね。待って。オフィス焼くの？オフィス焼いてくれる？面白い。いや、爆発していただければ満足なんですけど。
next go around will be
全部忘れるじゃん、ナレーター。
My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put
いらんいらんいらんいらんいらんいらん。いらんいらんいらんいらんいらんいらん。
Time doesn't grow on trees.
BGM かっこいいな。
Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing?
いや、ないと思うで。
Just assume
爆発していただければ満足なんですけどね。
running from button to button.
あ、してないです。一切してないです。一切してないんですわ、俺。
Or maybe this big red button or this door.
いやー、はよ爆発してくださいませんかね、こんなクソ施設。は
Game can be beaten, won, sold. Do you have any idea?
この施設は爆発するためにいますけど、今。
Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment.
違います。この施設で爆発したお前を、クソナレーターを押してくるためですけど。
Just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene.
あー、爆発してくれませんかね。
To see you made humble. This is not a challenge, it's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first. So
いやー、GM のダイパーを見た。
you have left to struggle.
あと30秒。
Something a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second.
4、3、2、1。慣れた話が長い。OK。クソ施設は爆破されました。OK です。OK です。クソ施設爆破しました。さあ、これ次のエンディング入りましょう。これ、俺が知ってるエンディングの一つだね。天国へようこそって言われた。何これ。わーしゃーいと。帰ろう。ボタン押すな、来た。はい、次。次何にしよっかな。
All of his co-workers were... Wait, no. This isn't the right office, is it? Is this Stanley's office?
ナレーターがクソになっとる。全部安さんが知ってるエンディングは多分これだけかなって思う。
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
してこーっ
To a
と。
staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive
コーラ飲もうぜ、こうだこうだ。コーラ飲もうぜ。
all because he believed everyone
でね、
his boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of
3が B になってる。
for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense.
会社複数あんのかなこれ。だから多分他の会社の時差とかそんな感じかな。
Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming! He yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief, Stanley.
PT 始まったな。
Finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this.
おー、居眠りしてるんやろな。
So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float
あ、
above.
めっちゃ飛んでる。
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid?
戻った。
Entered Stanley's head. One, he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought.
スーパーリミナルかな？
Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job.
読めんのかよ。
Exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I?
うわ、
And everything went black.
ホラーですね。これめっちゃ怖いじゃん。
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
マリアルさん？
Mariella woke up on a
失礼。
gathered her belongings and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled
あ、スタンリー死んだ。
to himself and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
おお。いやー、ホラーなエンド入りましたね。もう聞いた。次何しよっかな。
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
どうしよっかな。どう遊んでやろうか。
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Okay, I think we all.
バイバイ。降りた。一回降りて、狂気エンディングっていうのに入りました。いやー。静かになりましたね。いいね。お、開いた。モーニングフォーブレックファースト。モーニングクリスプ。トイレだ。なんか文字見えたような気がするね。気のせいか。もう一歩開いてんのかな。開いてないよ。いやー、静かなのいいですね。いやー、静かですね。開いちょる。これ誰の部屋だ。You are no now living. まあ、あなたは今生きていますと。754。惜しいです。あと1個。エスケポットウェイ。降りれない。755。756。753回見たかったね。 同じオフィスだね。なんで？やっぱ同じオフィスだ。エスケープポットランチベイ。どこまで行きゃいいのこれ。あ。よしよし。あれ？
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
今の何のエンドだったんだ？
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
せーの、ドン。
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
次行きましょう。だんだん慣れてきたな。じゃあ次は何だろう。次かその次ぐらいのエンドを、ラストにしたいな。
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
でね、このゲームマジで。
Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
どうしよっかな、次。
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If
電話取ったよ。
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
作ってなかったんかい。
Come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on.
作ってなかったんかい。 絶対作ってなかったな、これ。
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley. Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of
ひげー。
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day,
いやー、めっちゃディスっとるやん、これ。
none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a bed.
もう作者説。
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life.
わー。
And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it. You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley.
うわー、ブラック企業エンドだ。
I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again.
うわ
Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again. And
ー。
Stanley.
うわー。 ブラック企業だ。ブラック企業エンドだ。はい、次行きましょう。
Stanley wondered to himself. Minutes? Days? Centuries? Did something crucial happen while my senses were turned? He made a note to be more careful with time from now on.
次何しよっかな。
When Stanley came to a set of
次最後にしますね。いや、ほんと。
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was grand, majestic. Perhaps, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
次何しよっかな。
Bad at following directions. It's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
よーしよと。次何しよっかな。
Your chance to
次で最後のエンディングにしますということでね。
let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley. Oh, no, you can't. Did you just...
電話のプラグを抜くエンドです。いやーね。
I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check.
いやー、シナリオめくってる。
Thursday, Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife and the two bedrooms.
なかったじゃん、そんなの。
Comes in, face white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp?
めっちゃ説教されとるやん。
I'm going to stop.
教育ビデオ来ちゃった。そんなんあんの？はい。字幕ないんかい。
For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Stephen has a choice. He could spend years helping improve the quality of life for citizens of impoverished third world nations. Or he could systematically set fire to every orphan living in a 30-kilometer radius of his house.
どういう持ってる？
That unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood,
フィッシュってなんだよ。
allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back sack and crack."
なんて？なんて？
Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day.
あ、そうなの？
More than 8, less. And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, all thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feelings will subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Welcome back. You may have noticed that this room has begun
わ、ごっちゃになってる。
as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please. Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the
対策された。
dying senselessly.
対策されちゃった。
Make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
対策されちゃった。 マジか。対策されるもんなんだね。対策できるもんなんだね。
You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world. Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back.
いやー、ぐちゃぐちゃになってるね。
We're not too late. Oh, it's ruined. I can't believe after everything we talked about that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone? Left here like so much garbage. It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever. Reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do?
あっちに行きたい。
What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to. I have to.
おう。いやー、面白くなってきましたね。ちょっと片付けたみたいな。ここのエンディング長くない？
With you. You who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground.
いや、お前のもんじゃはないと思う。
You just have to see. Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't
ヤンデレだな。
that there's a world outside of you. You're a child.
ディスられるとな。
My story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility.
もう破壊したしな。もう爆破しちゃったんだよね。
Hard on it. I tried so hard. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry. Behave exactly as Stanley would. Choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure.
わったよ、右に行け、左に行きゃいいんだろ。もう仕方ないな。
Came to a set of 2 open doors. He entered the door on his left.
長いなこのエンド。
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to
あ、
his
閉じられてる。対策されてる。
boss's office,
明らかな対策じゃんこれ。ねえ。はあ。
stepping inside his manager's office,
Are?
Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Night Shark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out.
いや、それ。
To speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown.
言えと
Breath, and then spoke the code.
いや、言えねえと思うんだけど、これ。入力装置ないでしょ、このゲーム。いや、ないでしょ、このゲーム入力。ある？ないよね。帰っていい？漫画じゃなかったや。漫画かと思ったよ、俺。あ、これ社長かな。このエンド長いな。
Okay, fine, you're not gonna do it, but you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you had better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices.
スタンリーに対してすごい信頼厚いな。だって右のドア通したらさ、強制的にリセットするじゃん、君。知らんがな。あれー。エンドなんだ。あ。クレジットが流れた。
This is more important than you can ever know. I need this. The story needs it. So, you hear me? Are you there? Are you listening to this? Stanley, are you there?
動かされへんのよな。
You need time to decide.
スターリンの顔どんなってる？普通の男だね。ちょっとポリゴンが荒い感じの。終わりましたね。ということで、今回のやつの配信ね、これで終わりなんですよね。ということで、今回の配信はこれにしようと思います。まあね。いや、結構さ、このゲーム、作り込まれすぎててやばいっていうゲームで。まあ。多分ね、みんな、多分、知ってる方は知っているみたいなやつなので、あれなんですけど。いや、これやってみたかったんだよね、一回。突っ込みながら。ということでね、今回ナレーターをちょくっていきましたということでね。いや、マジで面白いね、このゲーム。煽られてるけどね、別にね、いいんだよ。はい、こういうゲームです。ね。実績解除とかがめちゃくちゃ難しいゲームなんで、実績解除とかはしないんですけど、このゲームは、ちょっとご興味持ったらやってみてください。突っ込みどころが多いので、あらかた見せれるもんは見せれたと思うので、あとはね、あとなんか2、3個ぐらいは、安は隠しておきますので、ということで、今回の配信これで終了となります。ということでね、今週の木曜日ね、テーマアルタロフさんとコラボということで、 なんかギャングビーストっていうのをやっていきます。木曜日ね。安さんの対戦技巧過去違う木曜日は、アルタルズさんとギャングビーストを行うとなっております。で、8月21日は安さん、あれだね。対抗戦だね。ちょっと怖くなってきちゃったさ。スト5。ちょっと怖くなってきたんで、ちょっと心配ですけども、まあ、頑張って練習していこうと思います。月曜日、木曜日は定期配信となっております。まあ、ということで、今週はこれで終了となります。ということでね、ということで、皆さん、おやすみなさい。ということで、お疲れ様でした。バイバーイ。